And here is the video review for the Maketoys giant excavator and bulldozer, and they really don't have. They're not named like Excavator and Neckbreaker and some of the things that the TF Club was doing. You see, there's bulldozer and excavator, and the packaging is really, it's nice, but it's nothing remarkable. It's just a white box with a little art in the background. And just a real quick rundown of the sketch and rundown of the figures on the back of the box. It's a lot like the Battle Tanker box, if you've seen that. But yeah, just pretty much a standard box. They're packaged in a bubble inside of it with standard paper instruction sheet here. You got excavators instructions on one side, bulldozers on the other. So again, nothing really to write home about in the packaging and included materials. The figures themselves are quite nice. You see here we've got the bulldozer. And I think a little more hardcore G1 inspired. They look, I think, a lot more like the original robots. Whether that's a good or a bad thing is really up to you to decide. But they definitely have their pluses and their minuses. But here they are in the yellow version. And something I've heard about the yellow version of this is if you want the yellow version, get it. Because apparently the yellow version is produced around the same level of numbers as like Shadow Scyther. I haven't gotten a hard number of it. This is exactly how many produced, but like this is the first release version. It's it's the yellow G2 version. There is a green version coming down the line, but apparently this yellow version is produced in fairly limited numbers, and probably if you don't get it now, it's not going to be coming out down the line. It's not going to get reissued like a lot of the Hercules figures have done, and I think some of them are even getting like a second reissue coming up soon. So just a heads up, if you're thinking about getting this, you might want to get it while it's still available, because once it sells out, it's probably not going to come back in stock again. But anyway, yeah, here they are. There's not a whole lot of real articulation on these figures. The shovel here has a little bit of up and down movement, but these pistons are not functional pistons just due to the ball joint back here. They just kind of has a ball joint here, again, mostly for transformation, but it does allow it to have a little bit of movement. They're in vehicle mode, and again, with this, there's no rotation on the excavator. You get the movement of the shovel, and that's about it. So just to show those off. Now they do come with what appear to be little generators. Now there's some handles that flip out on these that as of right now I'm not sure what the purpose of is. They don't say anything in the instructions about these aside from how to turn these into the arms. And it looks like there's some tabs here that might allow them to peg on to a character as a weapon, but I mean clearly there's something like, and here's the thing. The hand flips out of here, and there's a post on the back. Now, they also come with this gun, and we'll show off the gun here in a minute. Well, there's a hole here, but it doesn't actually peg onto here at any point. I mean, this is just too wide in any direction to peg on. Even flipping it open, there's a little peg there to hold this in place, but nothing. So I assume there's more to this gun than just as a weapon for these guys, and I'll speculate on that a little later when we get to the gun part. But it looks like you could maybe peg something on here, like maybe even a drill, and maybe this could end up becoming, like a drill in robot mode to homage the original Devastator, but also with these flip-out handles, could be used as a drill or a jackhammer, whatever kind of attachment they want to make for this. I haven't heard anything about that. If that information's out there, it's not something I've heard, but the possibility exists, especially with these handles, that you could have these robots maybe have some construction equipment of their own. As it is, they look like little portable generators that can be towed behind a vehicle. They have these little wheels on it. But not these vehicles, unless I'm missing something. I have not seen there's nothing in the instructions that shows how these might attach to these guys in vehicle mode, so I'm not entirely sure where these are going to come in. They'll probably come into play later on down the line, because, like I said, there were no, at least in the one I opened, there were no specific instructions aside from how to make these into arm parts. So there, that's just the accessories. And again, there's two of those. They each have just a little sticker, R and L, to let you know which one is the right limb and which one is the left limb. But again, it's just a little white sticker. It hangs off the edge a little bit to make it real easy to just peel off once you have it and you figured out which one is that. Because really, I mean, with the hands in place, it's really not all that hard once you open them up to figure out which one is which. Now, to turn these guys into limb mode, they're pretty much just stay in construction vehicle mode. You just pull their legs out a little bit here, the treads out, and then you take this centerpiece, you pull it out, and you flip it all the way down around like this, You actually want to peg this in. It takes a little bit of force to snap it in. Actually, you don't want to do it at this point because that's kind of the elbow. No, no, it's not. One of these days I'm going to figure this all out. You just pop it in like that and fold it back in. Mostly back into place. Let me get the... there you go. So there you have it. I mean, it just basically you just want to flip it out just enough to get this connector piece flipped out, and then and bring this connector piece up, and then turn it right back into vehicle mode. And then the arm piece. This is the left arm, so let's get the left fist out of here. You just open this piece up and flip out the fist, which then rotates. It does have 4 completely individual fingers and a thumb. And then here's the elbow piece right now. You want to rotate the fist around to orient the right way. Here's the elbow, and there's 2 little buttons here. It's hard to tell, but there's 2 little tiny clips up here that push in when you push in on these little buttons right here on the side, which you then take and plug in to the arm piece and push it in, and that locks that onto the arm. So now you've got the arm itself right here like that. And it comes, like I said, you can also just use this transformation joint. You can rotate the vehicle part of it itself up off of this. So for posing, if you want to get it out of the way for a certain pose, if you've got the arm, put the arm like that, it doesn't block it. You can get it out of the way a little bit. So there's Bulldozer in arm mode, and it's almost exactly the same here for Excavator. They share a very similar leg. I mean, almost the exact same leg transformation. I don't think the legs themselves are actually all that any different until you get up to the waist piece. Let me just do the same thing over here. Connect everything back together. Flip up the shovel, although you can leave the shovel down if you want, your preference. But it's the same thing. Just squeeze the tabs and peg it in until it locks, and flip out the fist. And there you have Excavator in arm mode. And you can tell just by them being here in my hands that they're a little smaller than the Excavator pieces. Lengthwise, again, well, I've got a couple pictures here. I meant to bring in some of the Hercules members and just totally spaced and forgot to grab them on my way out the door. But I do have a couple of size comparison pictures. So before we get into robot transformation, why don't we take a break, look at these size comparison pictures I've got here for us, and I'll come back and do the robot mode transformations. And as promised, here's a couple of pictures here just comparing the giant limbs to Hercules limbs. You can see that they're a little smaller than the Hercules figures, and the size difference is a little bit more apparent in hand than they are in this picture. But if you look at the connector, the length of the connector between the shoulder and the wrist, you can see they're about the same length. The giant's supposed to be just not as tall, but not real much shorter than Hercules, and you can kind of see that here in the limbs. And in robot mode, here they are with Jazz, and you can see they're roughly deluxe size. There's not a whole lot of height difference between United Jazz and these two guys. They have a little bit more of a spindly look in robot mode, and we'll get more into that after the transformation as part of the review, but just a real quick size comparison with the deluxe here. And we're back, and to go ahead and go to robot mode, you just want to reach up here and squeeze these buttons in again, and just slide the fist right out. And again, just close up the fist, open up this, and just flip it right back in there, and there you go. Set that off to the side. Now you can, if you want, go back and put everything in here. The instructions start off with this all folded in, but you're going to have to pull this back out anyway for robot mode, so you may as well just leave it in the extended mode here. So bring that out. You want to bring the hips, detach them from down here. I'm going to leave this up against the back here. Now the shovels here, you want to go ahead and pull out. It helps if you do this beforehand because the hips get in the way there. Bring them in, push them in. You want to just kind of bring the shovels around to sit on the back, just like that. Not a whole lot to it. They don't go anywhere. They don't. You can pop them off if you want, but they really just kind of sit on the side like hip guards. But then you take this, you can kind of see there's a little groove in the track here because the upper part of the tread compresses in and snaps into place up here on the upper part of the leg. slide it all the way in. And then, like I said, the treads transform exactly the same on both of these guys. You want to come down here, you want to flip the foot down, rotate this piece all the way around, and then rotate the heel piece down and sit it there behind the foot, and then just rotate the whole tread at the knee, and there you go. And then up here, like I said, you've already got this done. You can leave that up against the back. You just want to bring the cockpit or the canopy of the shovel down, split the arms off here, flip them out, bring them down and around, and rotate them out. And then on him, you flip the fists out like this. And it does, unfortunately, like they're on a ball joint, you do get some nice posability out of it, but it does give him very hollow forearms here. It's hard to tell from the front, but they are very open and hollow here when it all comes down to it. And just the same thing over here. And then from down here, the head flips up. You may have to lift it up to get it out. But the head just flips up like that. The canopy comes down here onto the chest. And then this piece just kind of sits up in the back. And there he is in robot mode. Just like that. He's got a blue visor. It's hard to, yeah, you can kind of see his blue visor, which I'm not sure about. But again, this is the yellow version. I'm really curious to see what the green version is going to look like, because I think that might be the one I end up buying. Also, these feet are on ball joints here too, so you can have his legs go out to the side and have flat feet to support him. Refocus that real quick. And like I said, very similar transformation, at least on the lower half of the excavator. You just bring the legs out, this whole piece down, pop the upper legs together, and then snap those into place. And then same thing with the feet. Bring the foot down, rotate it out, foot down, rotate it out, bring down the heel right here, and then rotate at the knee to the front. And then up here, you split, again, similar but different pieces. You split these two pieces right here to bring the arms down. Now, the shovel, I thought this may have been a removable piece that pegged in, but it is actually screwed onto the arm. If you don't want it on there, you can unscrew it. But it does just kind of fold up along the arm like that, which really isn't too bad, as opposed to sticking off or hanging out someplace else. And then the head here just swings around, and there's a little tiny tab right here that's going to peg into a little tiny slot up here on top. Just bring it around, peg it right in, just like that. There we go. And he has red eyes, just so you know. And again, you can position this however you want inside it. You can this one actually may be able to flip inside. Actually, both of these might be able to flip inside. And I think about the instructions hadn't flipped out, but you may be able to. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you still have the connectors sitting on the back. Oh wait, no. Yeah, take that back. The cavern is still there, but you actually can't transform it and have it in a way where that folds inside, unfortunately. So a bit of a shame. Can you? No, you can't. Just the way the waist comes down, you can't. Okay. Thought I maybe had discovered something. I should have just trusted the instructions and my original instincts. Nuts. No mystery solver here. I'm not Scooby-Doo. So yeah, there they are together. And like I said, they're nice, solid figures. I think they're a little bit more, as robots, generic looking. I think their vehicle modes look great. I think there's some very neat things going on with them. There's definitely some design choices I think I like on these guys over Hercules, but I mean they just look so very generic here in robot mode. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing if maybe them and the green deco wows me. But we'll be seeing all the yellow ones. We'll show Giant combined and get some size comparisons with the final combined Hercules. And next time with the second set, I'll try to make sure to bring in the guys. Now this gun itself, you flip this piece back, and like the inner guns can slide forward like that. So like I said, I assume this piece connects to more pieces to make a larger gun at some point down the line. But for right now, you flip this up, and you can pull this apart. There's just two little tabs here that hold it together. And then each one can connect onto the arm of one of these guys. And you can store both of them on the sides of this guy in vehicle mode as well. But you just peg them right on there, and they both got little shoulder cannons. So yeah, it's a good solid set. If you missed out on Hercules, if you don't want to spend as much on a Devastator than you did on Hercules cost, they're a great alternative. They are very solid. They're very well constructed. They're very well designed. I love their vehicle modes. The limbs mode look really nice. It looks like he's going to scale well with the Fans Project Bruticus if you've got that. So there are a lot of points in the favor of this one. Plus, if you want the yellow version, get it, because like I said, it's going to be produced in much smaller numbers than the green release. And like I said, from what I've been told, specifically been told the numbers on this one are real close to Shadow Scyther, and you know what's happened with him. So if you want it, get it. So we'll have some more coming soon. When the second set comes out, I'll have that one, and when the third set comes out, and we'll do a real good comparison with Giant and Hercules at that time. I forgot to flip this fist around. But yeah, a really good solid set. If you've been eyeing it and been considering it, like, they're worth getting. If you already have Hercules and you're not sure, maybe wait. But again, if you want the yellow version, you should probably jump on it now. If you want the green version, wait and see, get a good feel for it. I'll try to do my best to compare it here on the channel, all combined and together with other versions. So there you have it, the set A for the Maketoys Giant, Excavator, and Bulldozer. Available now at TFsource.com. Awesome toys, excellent customer service. Why go to the store when you can go to the source? TFsource.com.